definitely want to talk about the dead body. And
Oh gosh, everyone wants to talk about that.
I'm Jeannie Bowerman.
And I'm Kira Duggan.
And you are listening to The Story Will Save You. I'm very excited. Yes. Okay, so first of all, everybody, I'm solo today. Matt and Kira.
Yeah, I was wondering if it was just going to be you or not.
Yeah, just me. We are deep into contest judging, and since I know you, I was like, I don't need you to. I can do this solo. Who needs you? So, and Kira is back from maternity leave, so we are very excited to have her back. So you'll see the whole team at some point, maybe the next episode.
Cool.
Today, I'm with Patricia Shanae Smith, and Patricia and I met years ago at a Writer's Digest conference. You're in for a treat because she's got no pressure, Patricia.
Gosh.
She's got such great energy. We're gonna have a lot of fun, and we also have dead people in common. So we'll
Sounds like you made it seem like we know the same dead people.
No, we don't know the same dead people. Different dead people, but people who have passed along, shall we say. And I'm going to put Patricia's full bio in the show notes so you guys can read that, but just some highlights. She saw her first dead body when she was 6 years old. And she has studied screenwriting and film at Belmont University, which is really, you'll hear in our conversation later how much I love that. I think screenwriting is a great foundation for novel writing and any storytelling. And she's written TV pilots and directed 2 short films. And she's written over 50 books since she was 10. So, and I'm sure not 50 have been published.
Yeah, the 50 books are not great books. I did start when I was 10. So.
Yeah, exactly. Let's keep that in mind. So welcome, Patricia. We're really excited to have you here.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited.
So she's got this book is it out now?
Yes,
out now.
It was out.
Yeah.
Yeah, April 22nd was the release date.
Okay, perfect. And it's called Remember, and it's a re-release. So when Patricia and I first met at WDC, there's this amazing thing called a pitch slam, which I'm obsessed with. I love pitching. And Patricia was pitching her book, Remember. And this was, I don't know, what year was that?
2018. I'll never forget. I'll never forget that day. I'll never forget that moment. I'll never forget standing in that line, super nervous, practicing over and over again, my little young adult group. I will never forget it. Yeah.
So before we go into the whole publishing process of Remember, maybe some little pitching tips maybe for writers who are like in those live events. I mean, I teach a whole class about pitching in live events, but what was the hardest part for you?
Oh gosh, man, I just know that I put together a pitch it took me 6 months to create a 3-minute pitch. And I've pitched a lot since then and done a lot of pitching since then. And I've always prepared. So it's always great to prepare, but then prepare to change it completely, because then I got there. And what's so great about Writer's Digest is that you guys have these Facebook groups that you like, and there was a young adult group. And so we all met and we practiced our pitch. So practice. But then they told me my pitch sucked. And I was like, I'm about to go in and I have this sucky pitch memorized. They helped me redo it. And I just walked around Central Park, memorizing it.
Yeah.
And at some point you have to just be like, it's out of my hands. You know the story. And I think that's the biggest thing with pitching. It's you know the story. You wrote it. You know you know the main points, and just relax and just think back to okay, what is my story about? If you forget your pitch, if you forget your it's great to have a memorized succinct pitch, but if that goes away in nerves and all of that, just relax and tell your story. Tell it, because you know it. You know it.
Yeah. And it's also you're just really trying to get the agent curious enough to want to read it. They're not going to buy it right there. So just the goal is to just get them to say, you know what, that sounds interesting. Send it to me. I mean, I love pitching events. I'm not at Writer's Digest anymore, but I used to teach that Pitch Perfect session that they did at the beginning to launch the conference. I think pitching events are great. And I think people need to have a realistic expectation. You're not always going to get an agent or get something from it, but you're going to learn so much about pitching and even about your own story. you
Yeah, and
know?
practicing, like it
Yeah.
helped me. I've pitched screenwriting. I went to Hollywood Pitch Festival twice, and I
Hmm.
learned a lot from like pitching my novels. And it's just like, at this point, it's just practice because no matter what, writers are going to pitch for the rest of their lives. So
Yeah. It's
like it's
the
not going
hustle.
away.
No, and the hustle never ends. I mean, people think that.
Yeah.
So here's where I want to go and talk about Remember, because this is a perfect example of how you think, oh, great, my book got picked up, I'm published, and right, and like I'm set. Now I can move on to the next book. Like now I can tell us a little bit about the story, because this version of Remember is a re-release and you completely rewrote it. So tell us a little bit about all of that and what your thoughts are about the process, and maybe if there's a silver lining about it, like something,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. So definitely this is not the normal path. And I don't recommend this path, but I'll try and say it really short because it is a long story. But basically went to Digest, pitched Remember, and it took 4 months later is when I got an offer, got published from an indie bookseller and publisher. And I thought I was going to be famous and a best-selling author. It was going to be made into a movie, all these things. And that didn't happen, which it doesn't happen like that.
Hmm.
Maybe for some people, but it didn't happen for me. And I immediately started writing my second book because I realized, all right, maybe this one isn't going to work out. So I write my second one. It does well. I do a couple press events and stuff like that, but then it kind of just like goes away, right? And then I decide I'm now going to start screenwriting. So this is where we tie
Hmm.
screenwriting in. And I moved to Nashville. I moved to Nashville and decided to go to school for screenwriting and film. Completely forget about Remember. I've done I've it's there. It's on it's on some shelves. It's online. You can get it, but I don't have an agent. Oh, that's very important. I do not have an agent. So I got
Hmm.
published with Polis without an agent. So I
Hmm.
did not know what I was doing at all. And so it kind of just goes away. And then I graduate in the middle of the writer's strike and I was like, okay, so now I have this like dead book kind of, There's a writer's strike. So now I'm not screenwriting and now I don't know what I'm doing. Postgrad, do not know what I'm doing. And then I get this email saying that Polis is like shutting down and I have options with Remember. And I'm like, what does that mean? Like, what am I supposed to do now? Now I don't have anything. Now you're telling me the one accomplishment I have is now going to go away. And so thankfully I went, my screenwriting professor knows another professor, a publishing professor that I've met, and we've talked about how I'm a writer and all that stuff. And I visited Nashville for my birthday and I talked to her about it. And she was like, well, you have a couple options. And she asked me about my second book, and I was like, oh yeah, that's happening, but that's getting rejected. Like I'm just like a woe is me writer. Like nothing's working out. And she goes, well, I'm starting an agency. And if you want to, send me the first couple of chapters of your second book, I can see if I can represent you. And if it works out, then I can help you with Remember, like figure out what to
Hmm.
do with Remember. Because they were talking about buying the inventory, like stuff I don't understand. I just know how to write a book. I
Yeah.
do not understand the other side of that stuff. And then, long story short, we get this new deal. She signs me on, and we get this new deal with Datura Books. And but she said she read Remember. She goes, it's a good book, but it could be great. And she wants me to rewrite it. And that was part of the deal with Datura. It's like we will re-release Remember if she revises it.
Hmm.
And then I was like, I kind of just want to work on my second book. Like I've been working on my second book since
Yeah.
2018. I was like, you know what? I can do both. And I did.
Hmm.
I rewrote Remember first. It was like, let's get that rewritten and republished and do all that. And that's what happened. And with my agent, she has so many connections, resources that I got a publicist, I got social media stuff. And I was able
Hmm.
to set up a book tour and do a lot of, I don't know, it's just been great this time around with an agent. Like
Yeah.
I'm so grateful to have an agent.
Yeah. And I think it's like in the screenwriting space, it's everything is so different business. I mean, it's similar but different. Like in the screenwriting space, an agent isn't really the thing that helps you. It's a manager that helps you.
Right.
And in the publishing space, you need an agent, and some people do the indie route without an agent. I mean, it's kind of like all over the place.
Yeah.
I always say to people, there's as many paths to either production or publication as there are writers who have done those things. Like a lot of people have a similar path, but then there's always somebody who has some off the
Yeah.
charts, crazy, different kind of path. So now that's out. And your second book, and I want to talk about Remember and tell people what it's about so they can go get it. But what's your second book? Is it very different? Like it's the same kind of genre? Like
Same genre. It's a little bit darker. Some may
woohoo!
say a lot darker. Uh,
I like dark.
yeah. It's in the same universe. So the same lawyer comes back to represent the protagonist.
Ooh.
And that's all I can say. It's
Okay.
about a girl. I'm going to say it's about a girl
Who needs a lawyer?
who needs a lawyer. Oh, one little thing I will say is that the setting of this book is very much its own character, which I'm excited about.
Ooh, intriguing. That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's a great tease. So, okay, quick little talk about Remember, and then I want to get into screenwriting, novel writing, some other stuff. But I really want people to know what Remember is about because it sounds extremely compelling, and I'm excited to read the new version.
Yeah, you should. It's very different ending. But yeah, it's
Yeah.
about a girl who gets arrested for a crime that she doesn't remember committing. And it goes back and forth on she's telling the story to the psychiatrist, the forensic psychiatrist, and you kind of go back in time with her, and as she remembers, you remember. Like you're in her head the entire time as she's struggling to figure out what happened and why am I in jail right now.
This sounds like a bad night, at Mardi Gras.
Yeah. Yeah. She like really, now that I think about it, I never described it like that, but that's literally like she doesn't remember, so she's like, what is happening?
And also it makes you wonder, and again, I haven't read it, but it makes you wonder when somebody can't remember something, a crime. It makes you, my immediate thought is, what am I capable of? Like, would you do something that you in a conscious mind would never do? But if you're in a state, like, would you kill somebody? Would you do this unthinkable thing?
Yeah.
Like, and then what is it like to discover, oh my God, I am horrible.
And that's why it was really important for me to really establish Portia's social anxiety disorder and her post-traumatic stress disorder. So I don't think that would happen to anyone. I don't think you need to worry about that. I don't think you need to worry about going. I don't worry about it. Like, but because of everything that she's gone through and her grief and all of that, not to make an excuse of what happens, but it makes sense. Like you feel for her. Well, that's what I hope that I did. I hope that I established her mental health disorder and her grief to the point where you kind of feel for her the entire time.
I know you like to address some mental health issues in your books. Can you speak a little bit about, where that comes from and what your hopes are in doing that for the reader?
Yeah. So all 50 books that I've written since I was 10 years old, even though they're terrible, they all have something to do with mental health issues. But when I was writing them, I didn't think about that. What I was writing was my diary and my issues. And that was like my therapy and my escape on everything that I was dealing with. I have a lot of trauma, childhood trauma. I'm plethora of traumas over here. And but then at some point, writing didn't help anymore, and I had to actually get help. And that's when I, been in spaces where I met more people that are like me, but different, like different types of, and I was like, oh, this is so interesting. I'm so not alone anymore. And this is great. And on the flip side, the writer brain was like, wait, there's so many good ideas in here. I should, but no, I write what I know. I do. I'm a lazy writer like that. I'm not gonna write historical fiction. I'm not doing research. I'm not doing that. I'm gonna write what I know.
It's a lot because I'm doing it. It's a lot.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's a lot. I can completely relate to that. Yeah. And I think people should, I love that you tap into those wounds that you have and bring them to the page. I mean, I think a lot of writers, I should say the best writers to me, the best work that I enjoy is when you can tell that that writer literally bled on the page, like put it all out there and let me feel what they're feeling instead of like protecting the protagonist. And it takes bravery to do that. There's so many people right now in the world in this moment who are suffering from a lot of anxiety issues and trauma. And I'm sure that as a reader, they're probably like, oh my gosh, I can relate to this person.
I hope so. That's the goal. And that once I realized, okay, I'm actually writing about mental health, I
Mm.
started to be like, okay, now I have to take responsibility over this and making sure I'm doing it
Mhm.
justice. This is not just my diary anymore and just what I'm like want to write about. And this isn't just helping me anymore. This might be helping other people. Let's make sure we're doing it right. And that's when I started using my therapist as resources. And I'm like, hey, so would this actually happen or do I just do this? Would this actually happen to a character? And
Yeah.
it's my second book definitely takes a lot more research than Remember did because Remember is more of an isolated book. There's not that many people in her
Mhm.
life. She has social anxiety disorder. And it was, I won't say easy, but I kind of just bled on the page and hoped for the best. And it worked out. Second book, I'll give you another little hint. It deals with anorexia. And
Oh,
that
okay.
one is, I've struggled with it on and off for 20 years. And so I have my own view of it and my own experience with it. And I put that
Mhm.
rawly on the page. But then good thing, back to having an agent. My agent's like, all right, we might need to tone it back a bit. We might need to turn it back a bit. And that's good to have. And that's why I think now
Yeah.
we have sensitivity readers. We probably always had sensitivity readers. I just never used them before.
Yeah.
And I think that's if you are writing about something like mental health, it is important to take that responsibility and utilize a sensitivity reader because I'm very raw, I'm very dark. I need to make sure that I don't go over the edge on the page.
Mm.
Thankfully, I didn't do that with Remember because Portia's just not like that. She's not that. She's a little bit more. She's an innocent girl that has social anxiety disorder. But my second book's a lot more raw, and that's why I'm grateful to have my agent to help me out with that.
Yeah. I think it's critical to have like that second set of eyes and also somebody you trust that is going to be honest with you about it.
Yeah.
When I first introduced you, I mentioned that you were 6 years old when you saw your
Oh
first dead
yeah.
body. And I'm sure everybody wants to talk about that. But as some of our listeners may know, either from here or Reckless Creatives, I run a little cemetery up the street. So I deal with death all the time and on the different levels of it. One thing I want to, and I very firmly believe in spirits. Like, I don't know if you do. But like after we bury somebody at the cemetery, I go the next day and I introduce them to everybody at the cemetery. I'm like, hello, this is Ruth,
No
your
way.
new neighbor. And if I know something about them,
Stop. That is the sweetest thing I've ever.
I'll tell them she was XYZ, like whatever. And then I'll be like, everybody play nice. And then I leave. So I'm a little
Wait.
crazy when it comes to this subject.
Wait, are you like by yourself in the cemetery doing this? Because I just
Yes,
imagine
all by
driving
myself.
by and this girl is like talking to the dead people.
All by myself. But anyway,
That's
so
so
when
sweet.
you at 6 years old seeing a dead body, like,
Yeah, it's not as like it's not gruesome at all or anything like what I write about. It's very he was a tenant in our household and he was in his 70s and my
mhm.
sister who's super super religious she was like, and my dad and I are not. And she goes, I just feel like something's wrong with him. And my dad and I roll our eyes like, okay, what do you mean you feel like something's wrong? And just go check on him. Something's wrong. And we're like, you go check on him. And then she goes, no, I'm scared. And
Is she
finally,
older or younger?
older, way older.
Okay.
She like, and we go down there because my dad doesn't believe any, like I go with him. So
Hmm.
he's taking a 6-year-old with him because he was like, Dawn
Yeah.
is fine, right?
Yeah.
So he knocks on the door, he doesn't answer. And then we both walk into the room and it looks like he's sleeping. And
Yeah.
he's like sleeping like this, backwards. And we both walk up to the bed. And I liked him. He was like a sweet old man. And so I
Yeah.
remember like looking up at him and he just looked so peaceful and fine. My dad's like, get out, get out, get out, get out. Nothing happened in my brain. Like nothing happened.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? Like I didn't get out because I'm a rebel child. He leaves. And I'm like staring. Me and Donald are staring at each other, but he's not staring. His eyes are closed. Then the whole cavalry comes.
Yeah.
Coroner's there. I don't know why 911 is there because now that I'm older, I'm like, why was 911 there if he was already dead, you know? But I think he still called 911 or something. But everything, all of a sudden, it went from just me and this dead body to a lot of people in this household and them carrying him out in a body bag. That sounds so bad, but I thought it was the coolest thing. It sounds so bad. I know, I know, I know. But okay, I'm saying I thought it was the
No,
coolest
but
thing
you're
as
six.
a
Like you're a
6-year-old.
6-year-old.
Yeah, I
Right.
don't really understand death, which is weird that I didn't understand death because my mom died when I was 2. So I
Mm,
should have understood it. But I didn't correlate, oh, he's dead like my mom. Like, I think
yeah.
they described my mom to the point where, like, she's not here anymore. But I don't think they
Yeah.
ever used the word dead or
Yeah.
death with me.
Yeah.
The way they described on, like, yeah, he died. And I saw it. I don't remember seeing my mom. I don't remember seeing anything
Yeah.
like that. So it was just different. But I just remember that's when everything changed in
Mm.
my brain. In hindsight, I'm
The
thinking, I don't think I'm
inciting incident.
honestly, and I didn't think about it until like recently with talking with my dad. He was like, yeah, it was after that you started writing really creepy
Mm.
stories.
At any time in your life, that first time you see somebody who's passed, and it depends on the circumstance, like when you're at a funeral but in a circumstance like this, it's just like, oh, a shock. Like when you're at a funeral, it's not a shock. You know, you're going there to see a
Right,
dead body. Like
right,
this is like, I didn't
right.
know. I would imagine that would leave some sort of mark on you, whether it was a creative spark or or even just oh, look how peaceful he is. Like,
Yeah. And I
maybe a
wanted
little
to be
less
a more,
fear.
yeah, I started writing, but I didn't want to be a writer. I was just
Hmm.
writing. I wanted to be a mortician for a really long time. And so kind of like
Right.
working in cemetery, I wanted to work with dead people. I thought it was so interesting and fascinating. And I don't know. I didn't think of it as like sad, which is kind of bad.
Yeah. And I can see what you're saying. Like you're also helping people. Like you're helping families. Like if you're a mortician, it's not just about taking care of this physical body. It's also you're dealing with families and helping them through a rough period.
Yeah. And my aunt was a nurse at the time. My dad thought it would get me out of it if she took me down to the morgue. She goes, well,
Hmm.
show her real dead bodies. You won't want to be a mortician anymore. That didn't happen. That didn't happen. I was just more intrigued and more I kind of like you introducing all those people. I was like, all these people have stories. They
Hmm.
all had lives and now this is it.
I think one of the things when we talk about relating this back to writing, like when we talk about, death and all of that, I actually wrote an article for Pipeline Artists called Who Cares? Like, which is basic. I think that was what I called it. But because one of the things about running the cemetery is you realize all these people who were there had a story, had a life, and so few people go and visit them, and it's like they've been forgotten. And it really profoundly impacts me because I think the beautiful thing about being writers is your stories will live on after you're gone.
Yeah, they say
So,
writers never die.
right. So get that stuff on the page, and that's me talking to myself. Get it on the page. Um, and there's something so beautiful about that. We read stories all the time of people who passed. Some people who passed 100 years ago, we're reading their stories still. And yet some of these other people I look at who fought, like we have some people up there fought a Revolutionary War. No one's talking about them. No, they gave their life for the
Yeah.
country and nobody's talking about them. And we have the ability to move people, in a way that other people don't. And I love that you after writing Remember, you just jumped right into writing another one. And then with screenwriting, like, how do you think screenwriting has changed the way you look at writing prose? That was a pivot.
Yeah. Yeah. Hold on. That's a
That
loaded
was a big
question.
pivot.
That was a loaded question too, because I remember being in class struggling with writing, because I wrote novels
Prose first. Right.
Yes. So I struggled with getting the prose down to action lines.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was doing screenwriting for so long, and now I'm back to my book, and I'm like, okay, well now I'm struggling to write prose.
Mm-hmm.
It's just because they want the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
Like the novel, you gotta expand that scene, put the scene everywhere, and then screenwriting, you're like, all right, can you just say a couple things here and there, and
Yeah.
then also do it not grammatically correct at all,
Mm-hmm.
and all
Yeah.
these things. And but it teaches you on like what's important, what do we actually see? Okay, I want to talk about my trailer because this has to do.
Yeah.
I did a trailer for Remember.
Okay.
So I took a 280-page book and turned it into a 5-minute script, and then
Mm-hmm.
turned that 5-minute script into a minute and 30-second trailer. It was really interesting trying to do that because I had to what's really important, and then
Mm-hmm.
what's more important than that. Okay, then what's more important than that? And that's how I think that's how you have to write a script, like how you adapt a film. It's like what's important, then what's more important than that? Because it's still too long, and what's more important than that? But what I realized, what's cool about film and why I love film so much is the production, the sound, music, all of that stuff, because one sound in a trailer or a movie makes you feel what a page would probably make you feel. Does that make sense?
Mm. Yes.
I have a sound designer, Joe. He's amazing. And I was trying to get this entire page of feelings, but I only had like 20 like not I had 2 seconds to do it in this trailer.
Mm-hmm.
And he created, I didn't have anything to do with it. He created a sound where I was like, that's perfect. But isn't that crazy that I have to write an
Yeah.
entire author has to write an entire page in order to get that one feeling out.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I like doing both. I want to do all of it. I want to write the 280-page, then cut it down, some more, and then do the production part.
Yeah. I mean, have you thought about adapting Remember for yourself and just writing it as a script yourself?
Yeah, so I actually have an agreement with a professional screenwriter right now. I can't talk too much about it. There's good things happening on that front,
Okay.
but it's just a long process, which it's a very,
Yeah.
very long, tedious process that can go wrong at any time. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
but yes, I thought about it. Actually, I did adapt it for a class that I took at Belmont. It's called adapting a screenplay. And I asked
Yeah.
my professor, I was like, can I use my own book? And I did, and it was fun.
Because I've done it where I've adapted a book. It's fascinating to figure out. You've got to take this gigantic book and you've got to figure out what, like you were saying, what's the most important things, and not just in terms of plot points, but in terms of making people feel. What is the most important thing about the right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like what's the most important thing that's going to shock people, that's going to make them curious, it's going to make them have to turn the page. And when I was writing screenplays, I would and TV pilots, I would imagine somebody standing behind me with a remote control. Like when are they getting bored that they're going to turn the channel?
Ooh, that's such a good idea.
Right. And
Yeah.
so now I'm writing a novel. And so I think the way you did it with writing novels first and then going to screenwriting is probably harder than going from screenwriting to writing a novel, because as a novelist, you have a lot of liberty and freedom, and you don't have that as a screenwriter. You can't crawl in people's heads. You can only write what you can see on the screen. And so you had to kind of constrict your creative mind.
Yeah, it takes show don't tell to a whole different level.
But now that you're going the other way again, do you feel like this incredible sense of freedom?
You would think. You would think. But now I'm struggling with my second book. Like this second book is It's hard. I've been blocked for a while. I'm kind of out of it, and I'm kind of just like, just write it, even if it's bad. I'm just like writing. So like right
Yeah.
now I have like a lot of bad chapters, but I just want to finish it. Kind of bit off more than I can chew with this book. It's just a lot more complex, a lot more characters. Remember, there's like 5 characters. She
Yeah.
has social anxiety disorder, so I kind of made it easy on
Yeah.
myself. Like she's not talking to anybody. And this like there's I'm giving you so many hints with the second book. There's like a cult involved. So like there's like so many people that are in the cult. Then you have her normal life with her friends at school and stuff like that, and her family. She's out in the world, meaning I have to build this world. And not only
Hmm.
that, she has a double life. So now I got 2 worlds to build, and it's a
Yeah.
lot. But I worked on it the day I got home from New York back in 2018
Yeah.
when I returned from Writer's Digest. How many years ago was that?
As somebody who's currently taking a very long time doing the same thing, because I mean, life gets in the way. I mean,
Yeah.
can we just talk about life, art, balance?
I
mean, you
work
have
at
to
a
make a
restaurant
living.
right now. It's crazy. I know. And I opened a restaurant. So we started working like 6 to 7 days a week, 12-hour shifts. I don't know. And I'm a server too, so like I'm exhausted. I'm
Yeah.
exhausted. So I come home, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna write. No, I'm not. No,
I
I'm
know.
not. I'm not. I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm so tired and my feet hurt and I just want to just watch TV and read a book and that's
Yep.
all. I just like because this book takes a lot of brain power. Like I
Yeah.
actually have to I always say like I have to actually be like a real author now. Like remember I always think like remember was a fluke. Like I was just writing and then it ended up I was like I don't know how that happened. I don't know how it
Yeah.
ended up being a good book. I was just writing. And you know what? I think I need to go back to that. I just wrote Remember, and I didn't think about it.
Yeah.
I've always been a writer. It's what I do. And I didn't think about if it was good. I didn't care if it was good or not. I just really wanted to get this story. I really love Portia. I really loved exploring her social anxiety disorder and her love story. I love writing love
Yeah.
story. I I loved it. And I loved the second book, but now I'm
Yeah.
like, all right, well, now I have an agent. And now I have Remember
The
already out.
pressure.
And now so much pressure. And I don't do good. I'm not one of those workers that do well under pressure, that work well under pressure. No, I shut down under pressure.
Well, okay. As somebody who I used to have a restaurant too, and a motel. And I will say I'm gonna push back on that because there is nothing like the pressure of having a restaurant. So you can work under pressure because that's some intense stuff.
Well, I just serve.
People don't understand who've never worked in a restaurant, have never been a server, have never been at the back end of cooking or whatever. They don't understand the pressure that restaurant servers are under.
Yeah, mine's pretty
It's a
intense.
lot. It's a
Yeah.
lot. So you can work under pressure, but you're also human. And when you've
Yeah.
got pressure coming at you from both ends, from your professional life plus your creative life, that's probably why. Okay, we're gonna have a therapy session here for a second. That's
I love
probably
it.
why you felt blocked because
Yeah.
you're there's just too much spinning in your head. I would argue, and it's actually I just wrote this article too. I would argue that it's okay, like just because whatever you're going to write today under this crazy blocked, stressed brain, if you have the time and you want to get it out, get it out. But if you want to wait, it's okay because then you'll have a little more space in your heart and in your mind, and maybe what you're going to write 3 weeks from now is going to be great.
Yeah.
You have to
I
just
feel the
believe it.
pressure. I just feel the pressure of like I want this book out.
I know.
I want people to meet these characters.
Yes, because you love it. You love
Yeah.
it. It'll all come out. It always does. Well, since we're talking about therapy, when I used to go to therapy, I would talk about my stories with my therapist too.
Dude, I do that too. They didn't like that. They didn't like it one bit.
She didn't like it, or he didn't like it. I don't know who it was.
Yeah, he didn't like it but it was because I was avoiding talking about me.
Oh, that would do it. I used to go to our film festival, not with my therapist, but she also loved film. So she would go to the
Yes.
same film festival and it's just this small little town, little film. So she would sit the upper right. I would sit kind of at the back in the middle. And in between films, she would come over and we would talk about the films. Yeah, it made me think like I should have a podcast with like a writer and a therapist talking about reviewing books and films. I think it is interesting, the whole therapy
Yeah.
aspect.
Yeah. You know what? I remember the show Big Little Lies. We
Mm-hmm.
use Big Little Lies to do shadow work because each one of those characters I have like these different parts of me, like we all do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I realized that Big Little Lies, and it was like the only show we have in common, which is so weird. He's like a country, like old. This was in Nashville, and therapy was on a farm. Like there was horse out there. I'm like, you watch Big Little
And
Lies, okay?
you're from Los Angeles, right?
Yeah, I know. So, like, but yeah, and it was really nice that we got to like use the show to help me figure out what's
Mm.
going on. And I was like, I want to write something like that. I want to write something where people are using my book in a therapy session, or a therapist's like, you know what, you should read this
Yeah.
book. That would be like
Oh my God,
chef's
that's
kiss.
great. Actually, there's a guy named Phil Stark who he was a screenwriter. He used to write on South Park, and he wrote the movie Dude, Where's My Car? Now he's a therapist.
That's so
Yeah.
cool.
And he actually has a new book that just came out yesterday about how to break into Hollywood. I'll put the link to Phil's book in the show notes if people want to look at it.
Yeah,
And
that's so cool.
he also did a session with us on a symposium with Lee Jessup. You know who Lee Jessup is?
That sounds so familiar.
Screenwriting career coach. And I'll put the link to this in
Why
the
does
show
that
notes
sound so
too.
familiar?
And she's amazing. She did a free symposium with Phil, talking about writing, breaking in, the whole mindset of it. He actually is a therapist for writers, but he also does couples therapy and other stuff too. But because he lives in LA, I mean, all these writers need therapy.
That's
Yeah.
interesting.
Now you're published, right? And you're published, republished, and
Yeah.
working on this other book.
Yeah.
Going back to that like 2018 writer who was at Writer's
God.
Digest pitching your little thing. And especially the first time not having an agent, and now having an agent. Like, what do you wish you knew when you started about this industry?
Oh gosh, there's so many things. I'm like thinking about like life because I was like just like in
Yes,
general. Like,
and you know what? That question also applies to life because there's so much about life that actually relates to writing.
at that age, I didn't really know how much life can ebb and flow. Like you never really, you can be high up here and then you can be down. Money could be good, then all of a sudden it's not. Because I guess I was just like very stagnant my whole being in LA. And then once I started moving around and started, okay, wait, this was a good idea. This is not a bad idea. That dreams just don't happen overnight. And you're just gonna have to continue to dream. I always felt like, and sometimes I still feel like that, I just need just one thing to happen and then I'll be super successful. No, that one thing will happen and then you'll get a leg up, but you're still gonna have to need so many, like there's so many steps to success. And that's why you have to kind of get a different definition for yourself for success. And it has to be a different, because my definition was very grand. I really wanted the whole 9 yards when I went to New York. I do have big goals. My next big goal is to get a film agent, and that will represent my scripts, even though I know it's like impossible right now to sell anything. But I'm not giving up on that. Like I want to be a showrunner. I want the second book to become a show and I run it. And then cameo in it. See, I still dream big and I still do that. But now I have the reality of like, okay, that might all happen, but it's not going to happen in 6 months. It's not going to happen by a year. That actually might happen in 10 years. It might actually happen in 20 years. And that's why I kind of have to learn how to pivot and not I saw this somewhere. Oh, it was like a post of a screenwriting forum on Facebook. Have another life or career if you're also going to be a writer. Because even if you do get the agent and you do get the deals, everything happens. You're not going to get paid right away. It might take months to pay you. It takes years for things to happen.
Yeah.
So do something else. So that's why I was like thinking like, okay, should I be a teacher?
And I think the trick is finding that job that pays the bills, that doesn't drain you, emotionally and creatively, and just so that at the end of the day, you're just exhausted. And I would say the restaurant business is probably the most draining choice. It's exhausting. You're on your feet, you're running around, you're trying to make people happy. You're also on, so you've got to smile, and that takes a lot of energy. more than people realize. But I will say, though, I think personally, you're actually on the right path to that dream by creating intellectual property because Hollywood loves IP. So I feel like you writing that second book, as hard as that is, you're going to be talking to me someday as a showrunner, talking about, we're going to come back and visit this conversation. And I'm going to be like, let's talk about that second book that took you so long. Because sometimes everybody thinks these things, these projects just like come like that. So many times you talk to creatives and screenwriters and showrunners who say, oh yeah, I worked on this project for 15 years before I got it made. I mean, people don't understand that. There's really no overnight
that's
success.
why I'm really grateful for film school that I really learned that. And I got a big reality check in school. And because in 2018, I didn't know anything about film and screenwriting or anything. So I was really living in like a dream world. I don't know, but you know what? She was very confident. She went to New York. That girl went to New York and pitched, and we wouldn't be here if she never did that. So still go out there, still pitch, still try, even though it's hard. Just keep doing it.
And it's also so interesting too, like you just talked about yourself in the third person. And
oh yeah, I do that a lot.
No, it's fine. It's because there are we all live, I'm old. So like I've had so many different lives. You've had so many different lives in your time. And people, you also need to go live your life. So you have something to write about. Like you can't just sit there and sit in a cave and just pound at the keyboard. You have to go live. You know, because that's going to inform what you put on the page. It's also going to, just, I don't know, just don't beat yourself up if you don't write every day. Like that's really the lesson I want people to
know.
understand.
I don't know. My teacher, I blame my teacher in film. He's like, you got to write every single day. And I was like, okay. And then I just like stuck with me, which I think it's great to practice your craft every day, but I don't think it needs to be, maybe brainstorm or one day or outline one day or think about your book every day. But I don't think you need to write every day. But I'm hard on myself. Yeah, reading. I'm hard on myself though. I put a lot of pressure on myself. I'm like, I'm gonna finish this book this week. Patricia, no, you're not. You're not gonna finish this book this week. And then when it gets with the week's done and I don't finish my book, I'm like, oh, I'm a failure. Like from whose standards? It was you that said finish it by the week.
Exactly. And if writers set more realistic goals and are maybe more kind to themselves.
I have a bingo card of what I wanted to do all of 2025, and they were insane things. One was like, get a film agent, be on a film set. Well, that like all these things, and I'm like,
maybe get a 5-year plan bingo card. Like,
you know what? Yeah. And it was like, do 10 push-ups. I can't do one push-up. And do 10 pull-ups. Like, what? That's
pull-ups are not gonna happen. I don't know. You gotta dream. You gotta keep dreaming.
I don't know. It's a blessing and curse to dream. I have a friend who doesn't have, this sounds bad, but like I admire her. She's like, she doesn't really have dreams or like big goals like that. Like she just, she just works and lives her life. And I'm just like, how do you do that? How do you not like know what you're gonna do in the next 5 years? Like, why do you not think about your future? Like she does it, and she's happy. Like she's not depressed about it. She's like, I'm living my life. Like,
I think we need to talk to her.
Yeah, she's just serving and doing her thing, and I'm just like,
maybe that's like the difference between a pantser and an outliner.
like I don't know. It's like you don't know. You never knew what you wanted to be when you grow up. Like that's crazy to me.
Are you like a big outliner, like a big planner?
In my heart, no. But this one, I need to. But I think it's holding me back. I need to be an outliner. I think some books need that. This book needs it, but that's not my personality at all. I just sit and write. And one time, and remember, it's so funny, I found an outline that I made. So I try, I make an effort. I didn't write none of that. I looked at this outline and I was like, well,
what is that?
A waste of my time.
And I think some people do use outlines as a procrastination thing. Like they obsess about them too much. Like they have to be perfect. And it's like, and I got stuck in that myself. Like it doesn't have to be perfect. You just broad stroke, maybe just some big broad strokes, so you know where you're going.
Cool. I learned the save the cat method, and I know there's a lot of like controversy about save the cat, but I think I just use it as like a guide, but I don't use it as an outline. So I
Yeah.
think that's like where the controversy is. Like, oh, well, it's going to be two, whatever. I'm like, well, then don't follow it like that. Just make sure you're
Yeah.
hitting these points at some point.
Right.
Like, I use it as a guide, not an outline.
Yeah. I think that telling people what page number things should happen on is crazy.
Or, yeah, it did get in my head about, okay, well, this needs to happen at word count 20,300. I'm like, well, that's not happening.
That's not happening. Not in this book. I think
We'll see.
and when readers are reading stuff, I mean, they just as long as they keep being curious and they keep wanting to turn the page, you're doing your job. Like maybe
Yeah.
don't overthink.
Yeah, because remember, I had no education with writing.
Mm-hmm.
I
Neither did
didn't know
I.
structure, no pacing. What's the flow? I wrote, like, I didn't know anything. Like, oh, my teacher read the book. I'm like, I like how at the midpoint this happened. Like, the midpoint. What does that mean? Like the middle of the book? Oh, I didn't, that just so happened to be in the middle of the book. Like,
Yep.
I did not mean to do that.
But I think you're like a natural storyteller because
Yeah.
you know, if you consume movies and consume books, you subconsciously consume structure.
And it's how I talk. Like I talk a lot. But I think I need to get back to that free flowing, not caring, right, just writing and seeing what happens.
Yeah.
And then I can go back and edit.
Do you do like writing sprints, like the Pomodoro method where you're like write for 25 minutes and take a 5-minute break? Like, do you do stuff at all that helps you focus? Like, do you have any, or it's just like, okay, you know what? Right now I feel like writing, so I'm going to sit down and write.
Yeah, you know what's crazy? I can only write in a busy restaurant.
Oh my God. I
has to
love
be,
writing in a restaurant.
or a busy but
Yeah,
I
coffee shop.
don't know. I think the coffee shop might be too quiet. I went the other day. I'm like, this is too quiet. And then I went to a sports bar to watch the Dodger game. Like the World Series is on right now. So I was like writing, watching the Dodgers. The other day, I was with these two guys, and I was like, I need help real quick. Do you mind reading this paragraph for me?
At the bar?
And then he got into it and started giving me real notes. I'm like, okay, watch the game. Go back to watching the game.
Yeah.
Just hold on, relax. I just need help with this one paragraph.
I don't want that much input.
Yeah, no, it was so cute. And then I had like my note. Oh, hopefully he doesn't know who I am. And I never see him again. Well, he was sweet, but it was really cute that I had my notebook out, and I guess I went to the bathroom and I came back, and at home I looked through the notebook and he left his number in my notebook.
Oh my God, that's kind of cute. That's really
Isn't it
sweet.
really sweet?
That's really sweet. Back to fiction. When you're picking your ideas, is that the thing that excites you the most? Like if it's something that you're like, I would want to read this.
Yeah, so speaking of that, I'm writing another book that is not in my genre. And my agent really wants me to try it out. It's not like so far off my genre. It's not historical fiction. But it's like something I don't usually write about. And that's a question that I'm asking myself. Like, can I write this book if it's not something I would normally write, or something that I'm like really passionate about? And so I'm trying, and of course there's going to be things I'm going to make it something that I like to write about, or it would be absolutely impossible. But okay, for an example, I'll just tell you the reason why it's going to be hard to write is because I can't cuss in it, number one, and number two.
Yikes.
And number two, it has to be super clean. Then I thought to myself, am I a true writer if I need cuss words and and raw dark stuff to write a book? Like, no, I should be able to write a story that I love without that stuff. But I just think that stuff just makes it raw and real because that's how people talk.
Yeah.
But apparently in this world, that's not how they're talking.
I think it's always important for writers to take that challenge, to do the thing like when we were talking about screenwriting and novel writing and all that stuff, like to try, like all those screenwriters out there who you already have a script, use it as an outline and try to write a novel, see how you feel. And all the novelists out there, if you've got a novel, I don't know, give it a shot, see if you can figure out how to write a script. I mean, there's a certain amount of knowledge you need to go either way. Like you can't just.
Right. You learn so much by like doing different mediums.
Yeah, like even like when I had the book that I adapted into a feature script, I then adapted it into a 10-part miniseries. And then after I did that, I redid the feature script because of all the things I discovered in doing the miniseries. And then this feature script was so much better and had producers attached and all this stuff. Never got made into a movie because that's this industry. But by doing that, you learn more about writing. You challenge yourself. You realize you can do so much more than you ever thought.
Yeah.
And so I feel like you doing this new little adventure, you're going to realize that maybe there's a G-rated version of you in there.
Yeah. Also, I'm going to write of a male POV, which I've never done.
This is fantastic.
Yeah.
You know what? You've got that guy's number. You can
Oh
always
my God. Dude, I have, and he wrote notes too.
But if they were good
Yeah, I
notes,
know.
I don't know, I'd call them.
I do think you should get, I'm so used to getting reviews from writers or from people that are in the industry. Writers are not always going to be your readers.
Yeah.
That guy might be my reader, even though I feel like he doesn't know what he's talking about. Doesn't matter. He's still my reader and this is what he's thinking.
Right.
So this is what my reader will think.
Right.
So that's how I took those notes. I was like, well, you don't understand yet. But I was like, wait, why doesn't he understand yet? He's a reader.
Yeah.
You got to listen to your readers,
Yeah. We're going to put links to your book in the show notes, and we're going to hopefully get you some more readers, because why wouldn't you want to read Patricia's book?
Yeah. Also, my second book, there's a little thing where only people that read my first book will get.
Oh, see, I love that. I love that little kind of nod to your fans.
Yeah, this one's for you. It's so small too.
The Story Will Save You is a Pipeline Artists original podcast. Like, subscribe, and follow us on social media at Pipeline Artists and at Book Pipeline. For more information, visit pipelineartist.com and bookpipeline.com, where we have contests for unpublished manuscripts as well as for published books that would make great adaptations for either film or television. Learn more about our efforts to help writers find publishing success on bookpipeline.com. Until next time, let the story save you.